Augusto Sakai has been a little bit on a downturn himself, right? A little downturn. It hasn't been the worst thing in the world, but it's been a little concerning, right? You lost 3 in a row. Sakai was supposed to be the next guy in the heavyweight division. Then you lose 3 in a row. His last 2 wins knocked out Marcin Tybura, which is very impressive. You do have to admit right there. And then you split decision Blagoy Ivanov. So these are 2 dudes who are like top 15 guys that you've basically got wins over. You lose to Alistair Overeem, you get knocked out. You lose to Jairzinho Rozenstruik, you get knocked out. You lose to Tai Tuivasa, you get knocked out. Being that he's gotten knocked out 3 fights in a row here, AJ, I would imagine Sakai does not come out with reckless abandon. I would imagine that he comes out a little timid. And I think that timidity is going to work in favor of a Sergei Spivac, who has been honing his boxing, who, if he grabs you, he will uchimata you, just hip toss you to the ground and smash your face in, which he has done time and time again. His only loss in his last 5, AJ, and he's 14-3 in his career. His only loss in his last 5 is against who? Tom Aspinall, man, the dude who is the guy, right? So, I mean, listen. How do you see Sakai having a path to victory here? I want to talk about that first and foremost because, like I said earlier in the show, I do think this is one of Sakai's more winnable fights, legitimately. So how does he have a path to victory here?
Man, if he's able to stay, not necessarily at distance, but stay safe in the combos and then outwork Sergei Spivac, that's to me going to be the best kind of a way. If he's able to get the hands going, circle out, get a couple kicks, and then stay away from the big wrestling that is Sergei Spivac, the polar bear. I mean, I think that's going to be the best way for him, but it's going to be a lot of leg kicks, a lot of demobilizing Sergei Spivac, and then controlling the fight. Not necessarily at distance, because I don't think he's really much of a distance fighter. He's going to have to get a couple combos going and work it like that, keep the pressure on Sergei Spivac, but also not get taken down, not get held down on the ground. How do you see it?
Well, I see Augusto Sakai working some good combinations, Sergei Spivac walking him down, throwing the big right hand. But it just depends on if Sakai wants to sit on the back foot and counterstrike, or does he want to lead the dance and does he want to walk forward? Because Spivac, you will see a tendency of him just resting up against the cage, waiting for the counter, waiting to slip perfectly to grab you and then to take you down. AJ, if Sergei Spivac can literally lift up Greg Hardy, lift him up off of his feet multiple times and slam him on his head, on his face, right? A very typical, throw that we practice. That's like in judo, jiu-jitsu, stuff like that, man. That's very regular in the practice. If he can do that to Greg Hardy, and Greg Hardy walks around at like 290, cuts to 265, he should be able to do this all day to Augusto Sakai, right? That should be not even an issue whatsoever, man. So you would think Augusto Sakai needs to stay at distance the whole fight. Like the whole fight. You don't even get close. Don't even come encroaching closeness. And you would think the clinch is a great spot for Sakai to be in because of the Muay Thai, man. He has great elbows. He has nasty work out the clinch. But you don't want to be in the clinch against Sergei Spivac and get taken down, right? So I feel like you're just taking away Sakai's best weapons. Is just keep him at distance and do that. His best weapons are gone. And Sergei Spivac, I'm not going to say he's going to win a striking contest, but at least you can make him a little less formidable there, right? Or is that not even a good approach for Spivac?
No. It's a little bit more formidable because if Sakai gets in close on Spivac, it's going to be more favorable to Spivac. Yeah. Now, if Sakai can get in close, land a couple of the dirty boxing, and then jump back out and not let Spivac start to work his style, that's where I see Sakai having a little bit more favoritism, but it's hard once you get in there. The punches are flying. You're real close up in. Some guy grabs your hips.
Yeah. It's very hard, man. So listen, safe to say, I like Sergei Spivac is the minus 210 favorite here. And when we're looking at the TKO prop, plus 205. So if he ground and pounds Sakai into submission, TKO is really what I mean. If he does that, which the likelihood is good, man. Sakai has been stiffed 3 times in a row. Plus 205 for the TKO, plus 370 for the decision, and plus 300 for the submission. So clearly here, AJ, and the submission is a real probability too, but clearly the odds makers say the best chance of Spivac winning this, the highest likelihood, is via TKO. Do you agree?
I mean, last 3 lost by TKO, and you feel like the pressure's on for Sakai where he really needs to get one back. I could see a TKO happening, man. I could see it, especially because the polar bear he's a grinder. But I don't know. I mean, it's the same point. Like, do your last 3 losses impact you so much that you're like, all right, I need this win so bad. I'm going to go in there and just take somebody's head off. Or you say like, hey, man, I lost my last 3 by TKO. Maybe I take a little step back. Maybe I play a more calculated fight here. I don't know the mindset of Sakai on this one, man. What do you think?
Well, if you look at it too, I agree with that kind of point, man. I feel like that if anything, Sakai is going to ultimately play it safe. I think he has to, right? I think he's going to learn from the reckless abandon approach that he kind of took with the Tai Tuivasa because he was having some good moments in that fight. But look at Sergei Spivac. His last 4 wins, 2 of them via finish, 2 of them via decision. A majority decision against Carlos Felipe, and then a decision against Alexei Oleinik, right? The difference is Oleinik, great grappler, so your grappling isn't really going to work against a great grappler like that, right? So I think that the grappling should be the bread and butter, man. I think that he gets the job done, and I'm going to go with the TKO here, even though I do think that submission prop could definitely come into favor. But I think that big elbows off the break, referee jumps in, stops it. I like the under, and the over and under for this fight here, AJ, is 2.5 rounds, minus 165 for the under. So it's not like, listen, don't get me wrong. I don't look at these and I don't say, oh, well, the odds makers say the under is favored. Well, you have to go favored. But I just think that, I mean, the odds makers pick it for a reason. If you look at likelihood scenarios, all it takes is one takedown, and then the fight could be over. For Sakai, it's going to be a much more of an uphill grind. So what's your methodology, brother, for a Spivac win?
Yeah, no, I can see that as well, man. Especially once the fighters hit the mat, big elbows coming down. Maybe he gets a submission. The TKO's looking a little bit better as well. I'm with you, man. I'm going TKO. Early round 2. What was the over under?
2.5.
2.5. Early round 2. I'm taking the under.
2.5 for that one.